Have you questioned why certain conversations leave you feeling as if you're in a fog, doubting your own thoughts? It could be that you're being subtly manipulated without even realizing it. In this interconnected world, we're constantly interacting with different people, each with their own intentions and methods. Often, these interactions are harmless or even enriching. But what happens when others' intentions become dark and their methods manipulative? Today, we're delving into the complex and often hidden world of manipulation. Knowing these techniques isn't just an act of self-protection, it's a step towards greater autonomy and personal freedom. Number 1. Emotional manipulation. Emotional manipulation is like an invisible chess match where the pieces are your feelings and the board is your mind. Imagine walking through a magical forest where each tree symbolizes a different emotion: joy, fear, guilt. Each of these trees can be shaken by someone to make you lose your balance. Emotional manipulation isn't always apparent. It's often disguised as concern, affection, or even a loaded silence. The manipulator is like a skilled illusionist, diverting your attention so you don't see what they're really doing. This process starts with small actions or words that seem harmless, but gradually envelop you in a web of doubts and fears. A common tactic is guilt. Imagine a friend asking you for a favor, one that's uncomfortable or imprudent. Upon refusal, they respond with a sigh of disappointment and a look that says more than words. "I thought we were friends," they say. Suddenly, you find yourself questioning your decision, feeling selfish for putting your needs first. Another subtle form is fear. Someone might insinuate, without saying it directly, that something bad could happen if you don't follow their advice or do what they ask. It's like being in a dark room where the only light comes from the person manipulating you, making you dependent on their guidance. To defend yourself against these tactics, the first step is self-awareness. Take time to know your emotions and understand what makes you happy, sad, angry, or scared. Like a gardener who knows every plant in their garden, you must know every emotion that blooms within you. This foundation helps you recognize when someone is trying to manipulate your feelings. The second step is to establish clear boundaries. This doesn't mean building an impenetrable wall around yourself, but rather having doors that you can open or close at will. Learn to say no without feeling guilty and accept that you can't always please everyone. The third step is to seek balance in your relationships. A healthy relationship is like a dance where both participants move at the same pace and with the same respect for each other. If you feel you're always dancing to someone else's tune, it's time to rethink that relationship. Finally, never underestimate the power of honest communication. Confronting someone who emotionally manipulates you isn't easy, but sometimes a simple "I feel this way" or "I'm not comfortable with that" can be enough to change the dynamic. Number 2. Beware of logical fallacies. Be vigilant about arguments that appear logical but are based on fallacies, such as personal attacks or generalizations. In the realm of debate, logical fallacies are like mirages in a desert. They seem to offer refuge and truth, but as you get closer, they vanish, leaving only confusion and deceit. A logical fallacy occurs when the presented argument lacks a solid foundation, although it may seem reasonable or convincing on the surface. Identifying these fallacies is crucial for navigating the maze of daily communication and protecting oneself against subtle manipulation. A common type of fallacy is the personal attack, known in Latin as ad hominem. This happens when, instead of addressing a person's argument, their character or personal attributes are attacked. Imagine you're debating politics and instead of responding to your points, your opponent begins to criticize your education or past. It's as if Instead of playing fair, someone decided to throw sand in your eyes to blind you and steer you away from the real issue. Another frequent fallacy is the hasty generalization. Here, a small sample or personal experience is taken and extended to an entire group. It's as if, after seeing one bird fly south, you conclude that all birds in the world fly south. This fallacy feeds on stereotypes and prejudices and is fertile ground for discrimination and misunderstandings. There's also the slippery slope fallacy, which argues that a small first step will inevitably lead to a chain of negative events. It's like saying that if you allow your child to stay up late one night, they will inevitably become a chronic insomniac. This fallacy plays with the fear of future consequences, often exaggerating possible effects. To protect yourself from these fallacies, the first step is to educate yourself about them. Knowing their forms and how they manifest in conversation is like having a map in this desert of mirages. When you hear an argument, ask yourself, is it really addressing the central point? Is it based on solid evidence or assumptions? Additionally, developing critical thinking is essential. Don't take everything you hear at face value. Question, analyze, and seek the evidence behind the arguments. Like a detective in search of the truth, don't be fooled by appearances. Finally, learn to recognize and avoid using these fallacies in your arguments. Keep your discussions focused on facts and logic, and you'll be contributing to a more honest and productive dialogue. Number 3, gaslighting detection. Recognize when someone tries to make you doubt your reality or perception. Gaslighting, a subtle and insidious form of emotional manipulation, aims to sow doubts in your mind about your memory, perception, or sanity. It's like someone slowly rearranging the furniture in your house and then denying that anything has changed, making you question your reality. This tactic can take various forms. One common form is denial, where the manipulator refuses to acknowledge the truth or invalidates your experiences. It's like confessing to seeing a shooting star, only for someone to insist you imagined it. Another form is the distortion of facts, twisting reality to make you doubt your memories. For example, if you clearly remember a conversation where something was agreed upon, the manipulator might insist it never happened or that something completely different was said. It's like being in a maze of mirrors, with each reflection distorting reality a bit more. Gaslighting can also manifest through trivialization, where your feelings and thoughts are minimized or ridiculed, making you feel like you're overreacting. To detect and counteract gaslighting, trust your intuition and memories. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Keep a record of events, conversations, and your feelings, whether in a journal or notes on your phone. Having a factual record helps validate your experiences. Seek support from trusted friends or family members for a clearer perspective and validation. Strengthen your self-esteem and remember that you have the right to your thoughts, feelings, and memories. Practicing meditation or talking to a therapist can greatly help in maintaining your emotional well-being. Gaslighting is a form of emotional manipulation that can make you doubt your reality, but with awareness and support, you can protect yourself from its effects. Understanding how it manifests and developing strategies to trust your perception are crucial steps in defending against this harmful tactic. Number 4, awareness of group pressure. Recognize when peer or group pressure is influencing your decisions or beliefs. Group pressure can subtly or overtly sway our choices and convictions, exploiting our desire to belong. It's like sailing on a turbulent sea where popular opinion threatens to carry us in an unwanted direction. To avoid being the black sheep, we often follow the flock, even if it leads us astray. To resist group pressure, develop strong self-esteem and self-confidence. Knowing who you are and what you value is like having an anchor in that turbulent sea, keeping you steady. Recognize when you're being influenced. Sometimes it's obvious, like when someone explicitly encourages you to do something. Other times it's subtle, like when your social group adopts a certain opinion or lifestyle and you feel pressured to conform. It's like being in a room where everyone speaks in one tone and you feel the need to adjust your voice to match them. Learn to say no, set clear boundaries, and surround yourself with supportive individuals who respect your individuality. Building strong self-esteem and self-confidence helps resist group pressure and stay true to your values. Additionally, maintain healthy self-esteem and realistic self-assessment to evaluate praise accurately and observe the context and frequency of compliments to discern genuine intentions. Remember, your feelings and perceptions are valid. Set boundaries and communicate clearly when unjustly blamed. By being aware of these tactics and developing strong self-esteem and boundaries, you can protect yourself from manipulation and maintain your integrity. Your reality is valid and deserves to be heard and respected. Learn to say no and establish boundaries. You don't need to be confrontational, just be firm and clear in your decisions to stay true to yourself. Think of yourself as a tree with deep roots that keep you grounded during strong winds. Seek a support group that respects your individuality and values diverse thoughts. Surrounding yourself with such people is like finding a safe harbor where you can be yourself without fear of judgment. Make decisions based on your values and principles, even if it means taking the road less traveled. This is crucial for living an authentic and fulfilling life. Being aware of group pressure and learning to manage it is essential for maintaining your personal integrity and making decisions aligned with your true beliefs. Remember, it's okay to be different and make your own choices, even if that means not always following the crowd. Number 5. Identification of excessive flattery. Be cautious when flattery is used to gain your trust and manipulate you. Excessive flattery is like a sweet bait hiding a hook. Constant praise can make you feel good, but it may be setting you up for deeper manipulation. This type of manipulation plays on our ego and need for appreciation. It's like a magic mirror reflecting an idealized version of ourselves, making us forget to look deeper. Excessive or unrealistic praise often has hidden motives. To protect yourself, develop healthy self-esteem and a realistic self-assessment. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses helps you evaluate praise accurately. It's like having an internal navigation system to discern genuine compliments from exaggeration. Also, observe the context and frequency of compliments. If praises come from someone seeking something from you or occur with unusual frequency, there are probably hidden motives. It's like when someone offers you a sweet every time they need a favor. Eventually, you start wondering if they really like you or just want something from you. Maintain a healthy emotional distance when you feel flattery is excessive. Politely thank them, but don't get carried away by the praise. Think of it as carrying an umbrella on a sunny day. It may seem unnecessary, but it protects you in case it starts to rain. Seek opinions from people you trust. Sometimes, an external perspective can help you see if the praises are genuine or a manipulative tactic. It's like having a second pair of eyes that help you see what you might not be able to see for yourself. Finally, learn to differentiate between sincere compliments and manipulation. Genuine praises are usually specific and relevant to the situation, while excessive flattery tends to be vague, generic, and disproportionate. Excessive flattery can be a subtle but powerful form of manipulation. Maintain healthy self-esteem, critically evaluate praise, and keep emotional distance to protect yourself from manipulation and build sincere, respectful relationships. Congratulations on reaching the halfway mark of the video. Please leave a comment, even just mind over body, to show you've made it this far. Number 6. Recognition of isolation tactics. Be vigilant if someone tries to isolate you from friends, family, or colleagues. Isolation makes you more vulnerable and dependent, facilitating control over you. Imagine being on a deserted island, reliant on the person who left you there. Notice subtle or direct changes in your relationships, like questioning your friendships or demanding more time alone with them. They might criticize and devalue others, building a wall around you. To resist, keep your support networks active. Regular communication with friends and family is crucial, providing lifelines that keep you connected to reality and offer different perspectives. Set and maintain clear boundaries if someone tries to control who you associate with or how you spend your time. Be firm and communicate these boundaries clearly, like building your own fort. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong in your relationships, it probably is. Your instincts act as an internal alarm system. Seek external support if you feel isolated. Talk to a counselor, therapist, or trusted friend for perspective and to reaffirm your reality. Recognizing isolation tactics is crucial for maintaining your autonomy and emotional well-being. Keep communication channels open and trust your instincts to protect yourself from manipulation, ensuring healthy and respectful relationships. Number 7. Alert to ultimatums. Identify when ultimatums are used to force you to make a decision under pressure. Ultimatums in manipulation are like standing on the edge of a cliff. You feel cornered with a seemingly simple but terrifying choice. A manipulator uses ultimatums to create a sense of urgency and force you to make decisions under pressure, limiting your options to what they want. Recognizing this tactic involves being aware of when decisions are presented in an extreme manner, such as, "If you really loved me, you would do this," or "If you don't do this, then our friendship will end." These statements are like red traffic signals indicating that someone is trying to control your behavior through pressure and coercion. A key characteristic of ultimatums is that they often appear reasonable at first glance, but upon closer inspection, they reveal a lack of respect for your needs and boundaries. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. It may seem harmless at first, but its true nature is much more sinister. To handle ultimatums, it's important to take a moment to breathe and resist the pressure of the moment. You might feel that you have to make a decision immediately, but remember, you almost always have more time than you think. Think of this as pressing the pause button in a video game. It gives you a moment to gather your thoughts and consider your options. Additionally, evaluate the consequences of each option. Ultimatums are often designed to make one option seem much worse than the other, but by examining the long-term consequences, you may find a path that aligns better with your values and needs. It's like looking at a map before choosing a route. It helps you see all the possible directions and their outcomes. Another strategy is to communicate your feelings and boundaries clearly. By expressing how the ultimatum affects you and establishing what you are and aren't willing to do, you can reaffirm your autonomy. Think of it as planting your feet firmly on the ground, showing that you're not easily swayed by the wind. Finally, if you find yourself constantly facing ultimatums in a relationship, it might be time to re-evaluate that relationship. A healthy, respectful environment shouldn't be filled with threats or pressures to act a certain way. Being alert to ultimatums and learning to effectively manage them is crucial for maintaining your freedom of choice and ensuring that your decisions are based on what's best for you, not on what someone else is trying to impose on you. Stay calm, consider your options, and communicate your boundaries. These are key steps to navigating the tricky waters of ultimatums. Number 8. Recognizing blame. Blame is a subtle but powerful manipulative tactic used to make you feel guilty and control your actions or thoughts. It acts like a poison, causing you to doubt yourself and your decisions. To detect blame, recognize when someone tries to shift responsibility for their actions or emotions onto you, making you feel perpetually guilty. This can manifest in statements like, "You make me feel bad when you don't do what I ask," or, "If you hadn't done that, I wouldn't have reacted this way." It's like looking into a distorted mirror that reflects your actions as mistakes. Assert your reality by remembering your feelings and perceptions are valid. Don't let others rewrite your story or make you feel guilty for things outside your control. Practice self-reflection to assess if you're truly responsible. Communicate clearly. When unjustly blamed, say, "I understand you're upset, but I do not accept responsibility for your actions." Set boundaries and surround yourself with supportive people. A positive environment helps you flourish. Number 9, awareness of information overload. Beware of situations where you are overwhelmed with information, often complex or confusing, to hinder your ability to make clear decisions. Information overload is like a storm in your mind. Imagine being in the center of a hurricane of data, facts, and figures swirling around you in all directions. This can make you feel confused, overwhelmed, and ultimately incapable of making informed, rational decisions. This manipulation tactic relies on flooding you with so much detail that you can't see the forest for the trees. To protect yourself from this information storm, the first step is to recognize when you are being inundated with too much data. If you find yourself in a situation where the amount of information is overwhelming, take a moment to breathe. It's like pausing in the middle of a frenetic movie to understand the plot. Then, try to simplify the information. Break down complex information into smaller, manageable parts to understand it better. Ask questions to clarify doubts, like turning on a flashlight in a dark room. Don't hesitate to say, "I don't understand, can you explain it differently?" Seek external opinions or advice for a fresh, objective perspective, like viewing a map from above. Trust your instincts. If something feels overwhelming, it might be manipulation. This internal radar helps alert you to potential dangers. Being aware of information overload is key to maintaining your autonomy and decision-making ability. By recognizing, simplifying, asking questions, and seeking advice, you can remain calm in the eye of the informational storm and make decisions that are truly yours. Remember, in a world where information is power, protecting your mind is protecting your most valuable fortress. Number 10. Identifying topic shifting. Note when someone constantly changes topics to avoid responsibility or to confuse you. Topic shifting is like a magic trick in a conversation. One moment you're discussing an important issue, and suddenly the topic shifts to something completely different, leaving you puzzled and disoriented. This tactic is used to divert attention from sensitive or compromising topics and is a subtle but powerful form of manipulation. Think of it as being on a clear path and suddenly finding yourself in a maze of dead-end conversations. Manipulators often change the topic to evade responsibility or scrutiny, like a dancer avoiding dangerous steps. To stay grounded, recognize when this happens. Sudden, illogical shifts in conversation are red flags. When you notice this, steer the conversation back by saying, "That's interesting, but let's return to our main topic." Stay calm and firm, and don't get swept away by irrelevant distractions. If the topic shift continues, directly question the intention. You can ask, "Why are we changing the topic?" It's similar to turning on a light in a dark room, revealing what is being hidden. Establish clear boundaries in communication. If you feel the conversation is not productive or is constantly veering off course, it's okay to set limits. You might say, "I think we need to stay focused on the main issue," or "Let's address this topic later," and focus on what we started with. Recognizing and addressing topic shifting is essential for keeping conversations honest and productive. By staying vigilant and assertive, you can navigate through conversational manipulations and ensure that discussions remain meaningful and relevant. You're invited to share your experiences and reflections in the comments. They are not only valuable to me, but also to other viewers who may be seeking guidance and support. See you there, dear Stoic.